A major milestone has been reached in bringing high-speed rail into the state of Minnesota. The Department of Transportation has identified the river corridor running from St. Paul through Winona on its way to Chicago as the best choice and premier candidate in receiving federal funding and establishing it as the backbone for all future high-speed rail development within the region. Minnesota legislators gathered at the Capitol in honor of this major step forward.
This is such an important first step.
A good bit of the work has been done that says to Minnesota, we're one Minnesota, and we are going to connect the state.
This was a data-driven approach, and the data shows that the river corridor is the best route to make investments in first.
The study was encouraged by Minnesota legislators, knowing that a strong state plan would make Minnesota an eligible candidate receiving available federal stimulus dollars for transportation. With no plan, there would be no potential funding. After thorough research and supportive public feedback, the Department of Transportation has selected the river route as Minnesota's most competitive and economical choice to compete for those dollars.
When we look at the plan that we put forward and how it competes on a federal basis with routes across the country, the Chicago to the Twin Cities route is absolutely critical.
The amount of work already done in this corridor will be a great advantage for us in seeking funding for that.
We have to have a route that is going to compete on an economic basis as well. And that's what I find really promising about this report, is that that has been recognized and is very, very important.
Specific strengths of the plan included the facts that it is a route that already exists, already has high ridership, and promises substantial economic gains in regards to business, freight, and farebox recovery.
We have a rail line that's really ready to go.
Over 90% of the track already reaches 60 miles per hour or more, so making the relatively minimal investment to get up to 100 miles or 110 miles per hour makes the most economic sense. It costs the least compared to other corridors.
The river corridor brings 3 for 1. It brings investment in passenger rail, commuter rail, and freight.
In terms of farebox recovery and the investment the state would make, the payoff is the greatest.
There was involvement on many different levels and substantial community interest and enthusiasm for the river route.
I'm delighted to see the cooperation that we've seen between all of the communities and all of the corridors.
Consultants have been at work, MnDOT has been at work.
There was involvement from communities all across the state of Minnesota, and that input was invaluable.
While there is planning to connect all regions within the state, there will be little movement forward without the investment of federal dollars. This investment seems all the more likely now that Minnesota's best and most nationally competitive route has been selected.
Where is that first major investment made? And that's, I think, what we're focusing on, is that, and looking how that spurs development in the future.
We see it as the first step of also linking all of Minnesota, all of the regional centers in Minnesota.
Clearly, the results of this study show that the river corridor is the wisest investment for Minnesota to make.
For more information and to see how you can join the growing movement of bringing high-speed rail into the state, go to www.onboardmidwest.com.